Tight end from Clemson, Jake Briningstool, joins the program here. Jake, thanks so much for carving out some time this morning.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Well, Jake, man, I think you're a really fun player coming out of Clemson, and I just want to kind of get a feel. We're through 2 days of practice, and then today, obviously, we get into the red zone stuff. It's a big day of practice, but through 2 days, how have you felt you fared so far?
No, I think it's been a great week so far. I'm just excited for this opportunity, be able to show what I can do on the field, also meet with teams off the field, and kind of let them get to know the whole person. I think it's been a great week, great competition, a lot of great talent here. So I'm having a good time.
When you talk about the competition, I mean, your position group almost exemplifies that. You guys have had some good battles with safeties here too, and linebackers have had some guys who have flashed, but even when those guys have looked good, those tight ends have found a way to stand out, whether it's Arroyo, yourself, Terrence Ferguson, so on and so forth. Man, what has it been like working with those guys throughout this week?
Yeah, I think that was a big reason why I wanted to come here, just to be surrounded by the best of the best in this draft class. I think, like you said, this is a loaded tight end class, a lot of great talent. So I think the coolest thing is just being able to build relationships with these guys off the field, kind of get to know who they are as a person. I've had a good time with Mason Taylor, my roommate.
Yeah.
Just being able to get to know him, build a better relationship, get to know these guys before the combine, and ultimately as we compete throughout the league.
Yeah, and Mason's had a great week as well. And tight ends have kind of become this position where it starts to come in different flavors. So you weighed in at 234 pounds, and then you have some of these guys who are 250 plus, whatever. You kind of look at those, and that's like prototypical. We'll play them on the line of scrimmage. At Clemson, you did that. You played off the line of scrimmage. You played some H-back. You also played some slot. So talk to me about your versatility and how maybe you make it easy for an NFL offense. Hey, just get Jake Briningstool on the field, man.
Yeah, I think I bring a unique skill set to an offense. I think the biggest thing I'm looking forward to when I first get into the NFL is just, finding a veteran tight end, that's done it at a high level, be able to talk to him, get some insight from him, what's worked for him, what hasn't worked for him, kind of just implement my, into my own way and kind of just, go about it how it works best for me. I think you say something about the weight thing. I think tight ends come in all shapes and sizes. I think there's a lot of different jobs that we're asked to do. But I think, me personally, I can, make a difference in both the run and the pass game.
Well, I also want to see you, your scouting report on yourself. I look at you and I'm like, 6'5". Man, this guy runs like a gazelle in a lot of ways. You're just a very fluid, natural athlete. We were just showing you a clip from the Best of 101s, which congratulations, you're in the Best of 101s. But also just have great body position. You have a great feel for the field, open field, and being able to stack yourself up against, safety yesterday was Billy Bowman, but I think you just have a natural presence over the middle of the field and putting yourself in a very catchable spot. Big wide catch radius too certainly goes a long way. But for anybody who hasn't watched Jake Briningstool yet, what's your scouting report on yourself?
Yeah. I'd say I just bring a lot of versatility. I think I'm a guy that can, create mismatches outside. I think the biggest thing for me is just, want to be quarterback friendly. Somebody that my quarterback looks to and trusts, and has a lot of confidence in when he's throwing me the ball.
Yeah, and today we're going to get into the red zone. And that's a position where you kind of think, all right, tight ends, this is where your money's made. So, and also not even that factor, that's going to be big, but also third day working with these quarterbacks. How has that progression kind of come along? It feels like yesterday, just about everyone took a big step forward, or a solid step forward, and hoping to see the same thing today in day 3. And what have you seen from the quarterbacks and that kind of progression with you guys getting on the same page?
Yeah, I think they got a talented quarterback group out here. It's been fun working with those guys. But I think with anything, throwing to new guys, I think every day is just going to continue to get better. So I'm excited to see what they're going to go out there and do today. But no, I'm happy with what I've seen, and I think these dudes have really helped themselves.
Absolutely. And the Senior Bowl is kind of known as this opportunity to put guys in different positions, put them in spots where maybe they didn't have a whole lot of college opportunities at that spot, make them feel a little uncomfortable, right? Expand the shell, so to speak. What have been some of those spots here for the Senior Bowl? Have there been any things where you're like, okay, that's a little new for me?
Yeah, I think it's been a lot of fun just to be able to, play next to these guys. Like I said earlier, these are the best of the best in the draft class. So just being able to compete with these guys, show that I belong, show that I am one of the best in this draft class. But I think also just being able to, speak with teams, be able to, sell who I am off the field, be able to let them get a good feel for the type of teammate I am, type of, player I am, and also the man of character I have. So I think that the biggest thing is just, being able to show teams what I can do on the field, but also the type of guy I am off the field.
No doubt, and even to that point, it's a loaded schedule, which, you coming from Clemson, I know you have a lot of media experience from that standpoint, and you're also taking, classes. You're a full-time student. You're almost certainly basically a full-time athlete at the same time. But what about this? This is kind of stepping into the professional sphere, and you guys have had a packed schedule. So kind of walk me through some of the, maybe the challenges or the time management that comes with a week with here at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, I think just as you get older in college, time management is kind of something that you begin to pick up on and kind of becomes second nature to you. I think you just got to figure out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Everybody's a little bit different. But yeah, like you said, it's been a busy week, but it's been a fun week, filled with a lot of opportunity. So I think it's just been a cool experience, and I'm happy I got the opportunity to come down here.
Absolutely, and I want to talk to you a little bit about Clemson. making it as part of the expanded college football playoff. From your standpoint as a player, I think there was a lot of excitement from the media and even just the fan base. All right, now we get 12 teams in. It just, 4 that's a tough nut to crack. 12, okay, now we get a little bit more flavor, a little bit more feel, some even more fun matchups in that way. So from a player standpoint, 12-field, college football playoff, what excited you about that, and what kind of was your mindset going into this year as Clemson saying, hey, I think it takes a little bit of pressure off. If we lose a game, our season's not done, we can get better, move on, and still give ourselves a chance.
Yeah, I think the 12-team playoff was pretty cool. It's a pretty cool experience just to be able to play in an environment that I have never played in before down there at Texas. But I think the coolest thing is just, having an opportunity, that many teams having an opportunity to go on a championship run. You look at the teams that did play in the national championship, neither one of them was ranked in the top 4.
Right.
So I would just say, it just gives a lot of opportunity, and that's really all you can ask for in today's day and age. But, at Clemson, we didn't achieve our goal that we wanted to, but we ended up winning the league, winning the ACC, and ultimately, being one of the teams that got to play in the first ever 12-team playoff. So I think that was a pretty cool experience, and we enjoyed it. I think we had a young team, got a lot of guys coming back next year, and I think it was a good experience for them, and I'm excited to see what they can do in the future.
And then, looking at 2026 for this Clemson team, I thought Cade Klubnik took some big step forwards this year. What did you see out of your quarterback this season?
Yeah, I think Cade's great. He's been through some adversity, early on in his career, but I think, he's built for it. He's made of the right stuff. He really just knows how to handle adversity, bounce back. Maybe a play doesn't go his way, but he'll come back and make a spectacular one. So, Cade's a great leader, great teammate off the field. So I think I wish him nothing but the best, and I'm happy to see what he's about to do.
Absolutely, and I feel like Dabo Swinney is one of these guys where I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but I just got to ask, any funny Dabo stories you can share?
No, Coach Swinney's a great coach. I think a lot of the reason why I committed to him was a culture that he's built at Clemson. The man of faith that he is, how he cares about his players. He always says he's more worried about the 30-year-old version of yourself, more so than what you can do in college. So I think, the way he runs his program, I got a lot of respect for, and I'm definitely, an example of how that is run and, the benefits that can come from that.
I love that mentality. Worried more about the 30-year-old self than the college self. I think it's fantastic. Well, like I said, today's going to be the Red Zone. Keep your eyes out. We're going to have, I'm sure, a lot of clips from Jake Briningstool today. He's a big friendly target and should have a big day there in the Red Zone. Jake, thank you so much for taking the time this morning.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Joined now by tight end from Miami, Arroyo. Elijah, appreciate you taking some time with us this morning.
Oh, thank you.
Man, you've been one of Twitter's favorite players this week, man. I feel like you made yourself some good money this week. It's a loaded tight end class, but let's just start with measurements. That's kind of where the week begins, right? 251 pounds. That's great. That's a mark. That's a benchmark for playing on the line of scrimmage. So talk to me a little bit about that weight, hitting that mark, and then like the ability to, because you're a fluid athlete, we'll come back to that in a second. I feel like you have the ability to play H-back, on the line of scrimmage, in the slot. So talk to me about how you can be a little bit of an easy button for an NFL offense. Hey, just get Elijah Arroyo on the field.
I feel like my athleticism helps a lot. When I first got to college, I was 220 pounds.
Wow.
So I came in and I put that weight on quick. By my first game, I was already 250. After my first year, I was kind of able to spread the weight out and, gain my speed back. And, I feel really good at this weight. For offenses, they can put me out wherever they want on the field. In college, you see my film, I've lined up pretty much everywhere.
100%.
Hopefully I can continue to do that at the next level.
Well, and you've been such a fluid mover throughout this entire week, really showcasing it with your route running. So talk to me about the progress over 4 years in Miami. Talk to me about the progress you make there and the attention to detail that it takes to become a sharp route runner. And are any of the guys that you look to and is like inspiration, like that guy does the right way?
There's a lot of guys, first of all. I would say, there's a lot of people in the tight end room, in college, as well as, some of the team leaders on the team who really helped me as far as, route running, being, detailed with my routes. Cam came in and, he demanded that we were detail oriented, and I feel like that really helped this year as well.
No doubt. And then even just talking about Cam Ward, you guys got to see a lot of zone coverage because Cam just has that ability. He's such a loose, calm, confident player, and he'll extend the play. So because of that, a lot of teams are playing zone and keeping their eyes on him. But talk to me about some of the, challenges that maybe come with that, but also a quarterback who can, when a play breaks down, you always have a shot to make a big play. How does that excite you as a pass catcher?
I mean, first of all, he made football easy. And, when things come easy, it's more fun. So,
totally.
We had a whole lot of fun this year. Really, the only thing I would say, only challenge, is, we never really knew how defenses were going to game plan us just because, it could be, a man team or a zone team. And then as soon as they play us, nobody had really stopped us yet. So they come out and play something completely different.
Right. No doubt. And then today we're going to get into our third day of practice and red zone. That's where a lot of people's eyes are going to be on today. So talk to me about why your game will stand out today in the red zone.
Red zone, you know, I like to call that the score zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or also, you know, the tight end zone. You know, that's where, you know, we thrive. That's where we eat. But, you know, I'm going to continue to showcase what I'm able to do. And, you know, I'm going to have fun doing it.
And over the course of the first two practices, felt like quarterbacks started to take a step forward yesterday. How's it been trying to get on the same page with these guys who you haven't gotten the chance to play with until this week?
It was great. I mean, you know, we have, you know, a lot of talented quarterbacks. You know, these guys are really smart. They rarely miss throws. So, you know, just being able to go out and, you know, get better with them, it's fun.
And that's where we're going to leave it here, Elijah. You got a ton of interviews. Again, you've been a busy man this week and getting a lot of attention warranted. It's a loaded tight end group, but I think of the guys here, a lot of guys played well. I think you've stood above them all. So I appreciate you taking some time this morning, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Wide receiver from Oregon, Tez Johnson, back on the program. Tez, it's only been a couple days, but it's good to see you again, man.
Yeah, always, man. Pleasure.
Well, you know, when we talked to you a couple days ago, it was leading up to the week, and you were talking about some of the things that you felt like you could show off this week, and some of that was your route running, especially at the top of the break. And you even talked a little bit about Tank Dell, and I was just joking with you, man. You go on X, you go on any of these social media platforms, and you search the word Tez Johnson, you're going to probably see the name Tank Dell somewhere in that mix too, man.
Sure,
so
sure.
how do you feel like the first 2 days have gone for you? And then what do you think about it, man? You're living up to those hypes and those comparisons. And, you know, even like Rick Spielman and, you know, former GM and them, they were saying the same thing. So how does that make you feel?
Great, obviously. But it's one of those things that when I came out here, I always wanted to just be the best I could be on the field all the time. Be the best teammate, be the best leader as I possibly can be. And it's funny you say Tank Dell because he texted me. Like, man, Tank Dell is really close. He definitely gave me some ideas what to do each and every day. So he definitely played a big part of this Senior Bowl. So it's really good for sure.
Absolutely. And I mean, like day one, there was a rep against Azareye'h Thomas, who's a good man press corner from Florida State. That's kind of, you know, their MO there with the Seminoles, and you won that rep. And it's one of these things where, like, again, we were talking about your ability to separate, and yeah, 156 pounds. It's not necessarily like the 200 pounds that, like, you know, in Madden, you're like, okay, that's the, you know, that's the guy I'm looking for. But in the modern NFL, man, that plays. So when you look at the modern NFL, what are some of those cheat codes that kind of excite you about potentially playing at the next level, and some of the things that you're looking forward to fitting in an offense?
I'm the type of guy that you just move around a lot, just catch people off guard, and being able to get that separation that a quarterback needs and wants to make an easy decision for them. Like the guy you said from Florida State, he's a really good DB. He's one of the guys that really challenged me out there. He's patient. He knows what he's doing for sure. But I think both of us know like how to play against each other. Like,
sure.
Sometimes I want to be aggressive and he win, and sometimes he want to be aggressive and I win. Like, it's back and forth with the competition out there. Like, we come up to each other after practice and say like, hey, that's good. Like, we really competing out here. And like you do say, like, bigger guys out here, yeah, there's some guys out there that's really good that's bigger than me, but my game is just different than those guys.
Sure.
God just blessed me with a slither frame, man. So I mean, I'm blessed for it.
And that's where you kind of get to the next level, and no one's gonna, like, and I mean this is no knock, but like, you're not gonna play X receiver, and that's like totally fine. That's where you draft those guys to do that sort of stuff. So I think even just like sometimes we can oversimplify wide receiver, and we try to bunch all these guys in the same category. And really, I think, man, we get you into a creative offense, get you those head starts, dude. We get you in motion pre-snap. You're gonna be cooking at the next level. I also wanted to talk to you about red zone today. You know, and I think, you know, talking about size, sometimes it's just easy analysis. I would say lazy, but, you know, we'll be nice and we'll call it easy analysis to say, big guys, that's where they feast. I used this comp after the show yesterday. Devontae Adams, yeah, he's 6'2", but he's also a separation savant, and that's why he always cooks in the red zone. And I think, again, today, like, you're going to be on everyone's, you know, highlight reels because you're just a natural separator, and I think you're going to showcase that today in the red zone. So talk to me about the excitement kind of getting into that, those tight windows, or every inch matters, and how your game's going to potentially stand out today.
Well, the red zone is where defense tend to get more physical. So you got to be able to know those type of things and be able to be aware of each and every defender that's going to be guarding you. So it's something I'm definitely looking forward to because the red zone, that's where you score touchdowns. Hopefully the big guys go out there and attack the ball a little bit today. Very excited to see that. But for sure, we definitely going to create some more separation and just show teams like there's 3 phases of the game that I can definitely hit. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Awesome. Well, Tez, I know you got a couple of other interviews this morning. I appreciate you coming back on the show, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Joined now by edge rusher from Notre Dame, RJ Oben. RJ, I was just telling you, I'm a Notre Dame fan, man, so I'm trying to keep the blushing to a minimum, but thanks for taking some time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Man, dude, the O-line, D-line one-on-ones, they have been an absolute joy to watch. And I'll also say the Senior Bowl, this roster is really, really good. I don't think there's anybody here that hasn't necessarily not won a rep. You know, like I think it's been pretty even across the board, but man, through 2 days, how have you felt you fared so far?
Man, I think I've done pretty well, man. Definitely not been perfect, and definitely things I got to take away from. Going against some of the top best guys in the country. It's just definitely been a privilege, and to perform on a top stage in front of NFL scouts and kind of show my talent and skill on all different levels and phases is just something that I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, and I mentioned that. Again, it's such a stacked group. No one's necessarily not won a rep just because I think iron sharpens iron. I think you saw that yesterday. Those one-on-one drills, I think there were maybe a few less reps for you guys because those reps started to go just a little bit longer, man. So talk to me about the tenacity, especially it's a good tackle group you guys got here. No Armand Membu, he came down with the stomach bug, but even with him out of the equation, Josh Connerly, Ozzie Trapilo, a lot of guys have really stood out there at tackle. So talk to me about battling with those guys the first 2 days.
Yeah, it's been great, man. There's a lot of great, SEC talent, a lot of bigger guys that, you don't get to see throughout the year. Average, college offensive lineman, obviously isn't, 6'6", pushing over 315, things like that. So getting to go against that, on a consistent basis for the last few days has been great. Guys on all cylinders, whether it's guys from, FCS level stepping up and kind of showing their talents and showing that, regardless of the level of football that they played at, that there's, talent on all sides. So, getting to be a part of that and show off mine as well is just amazing.
Man, and I got to ask you, I mean, only 3 Notre Dame players, no Ohio State players here, and you guys had one heck of a run again. I'm trying not to freak out here, and I'm waiting to get the forced fumble there at the end of the first half against Georgia. I'm going to get that frame put up on a wall somewhere. Heck of a play there, but man, talk to me about the turnaround and the decision to go ahead and honor your commitment to come to the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, of course, man. Well, honestly, I just think at first it just put me in an advantage, just, being able to play a game just last Monday. I got a lot of guys coming in here that hasn't played since, late November. Sure. So, still being in football shape, still having those instincts, as sharp as they can be, and, just trying to show that, even at my best, in the end of the season, that I'm still able to perform at a high level and with, great physicality and speed. At the same time, NFL seasons, 16, 17 games. So,
sure.
Kind of just trying to prepare myself for that next level and show that, my body's ready for that capacity as well.
Yeah, when you throw in the Senior Bowl, yeah, this would be game 17 of the year for the Notre Dame guys. You guys would play the full NFL season. That's pretty fantastic. Well, you look at that forced fumble against Georgia. Also, great play, and I was just talking to Jack Heiser about it yesterday against Jalen Milroe. You bend the corner. Great ankle and hip flexion. You would have gotten the sack had they blown it dead, and then Kaiser gets the pick. So it was a great rep for Notre Dame all the way around. But I think those 2 plays showcase speed and natural bend. You're just a very fluid athlete there. But for anybody who hasn't maybe seen RJ Oben, haven't dived into the tape yet, what's your scouting report on yourself?
Yeah, man, I would just say somehow I just play with a tremendous amount of violence and physicality at the point of the ball, with the ability to set the edge, on all cylinders. I'm able to play all across the defensive front. Coach Golden is, playing under different, 3, great, tremendous, different defensive schemes, under, Elko, Golden, under Cutcliffe's dream, earlier in my career. Just being able to show, different parts of my game and my technique. I think I've been able to do that throughout my career. I think I have a tremendous, bag of, pass rush moves in my repertoire, that I'm able to use, depending on the situation, and I have a, just a great amount of preparation that I'm able to, use and apply those moves after watching a series of tape and, learning a lot of ball knowledge. And obviously I've learned a lot from, really, smart guys and stuff like that,
totally.
throughout my career. But, I think, those great defensive masterminds have definitely, expanded my capacity to learn more about the game and kind of see, football in its entirety.
No doubt, and I think in that college football playoff, you bring up Al Golden, now the defensive coordinator with the Cincinnati Bengals. I thought he did a great job. You lose Riley Mills, and that was a big loss right in the middle of that defensive line, and it, all the broadcasts are showing the average weight of the defensive line. But I felt he did a great job game planning and using stunts, twists, and also simulated pressures to kind of make up for that. So can you talk to me about what that game plan was through the college football playoff, especially after you lose Riley, and what those adjustments were from Coach Golden?
Yeah, of course, man. Well, he's always been someone that's been, huge on, having those defensive tackle stunts and
Yeah.
guys moving around inside. Guys like Kaiser coming down and mixing that in with the linebackers and a lot of hidden pressures to kind of fill those gaps, especially with some of the runs that you've been doing. A lot of stretch that we faced throughout the postseason. So getting ready for those. Switching up the fronts depending on who we were playing in the offensive line. So Rylan going down was definitely rough, man, and he's brings a tremendous amount of physicality and definitely a leader of that defense, man. But even when he went down, I feel like his presence was still part of the team. He's coming to practice, giving us pregame speeches still, man, and walking out there in crutches, man. So he's just a great guy to be around and always full of energy. But I think just Coach Golden knows that next guy is always ready to step up, man. And I think we had a lot of guys go down on the defensive front throughout the year, and I just think that just speaks to the culture of the team and guys willing to regardless of their role, willing to step up when their name number is called. So I think that was just showing indicative of who we are as a defense, and I was happy to be a part of that.
Man, talking to you, talking to Jack, talking to Riley, I'm ready to run through a brick wall for you guys. You guys just have so much tenacity, and I think you just guys, I don't know, there's a great leadership quality to all three of you guys. We got to see Marcus Freeman on the field yesterday, man, and I'll never forget this quote before the national championship. Obviously, it didn't go the way that I wanted it to, certainly, but Vegas got a half right. We're not underdogs. We're some dogs, and I goosebumps reflecting on that. That's insane. But talk to me of what it's like to play for Coach Freeman.
Man, Coach Freeman's great, man. He just brings a tremendous amount of energy every day. Those pregame speeches, those speeches before Tuesday, Wednesday practice, man, just used to get me fired up. Learning in the afternoon or early in the morning, depending on what time it was, man. But he's just great to play. Under a coach who's close to playing the game, who's played recently, and under a young guy. Guys get fired up to hear about him. You see that video where they announce him as head coach, and everyone goes crazy. So even before I made a decision to come to Notre Dame, I talked to a whole bunch of guys, about how they felt about Coach Freeman and their passion and love for him, and what he brings to the game and attack and the ability to bring the best out of his players. And I was just really happy to be a part of that team.
No doubt about it. And so today we get into our final day of practice, and red zone. That's going to be what a lot of people are keeping their eyes on today, man. And over the course of an NFL game, every play realistically equals out to be about the same in value. But it does feel like it gets a little bit more valuable once you get inside that red area, man. So talk to me about some of your hopes, goals, ambitions, and how you hope to boost that stock today.
Yeah, of course, man. Well, red zone is definitely a huge emphasis, throughout the course of the game, especially in the postseason. Hopefully if we convert on a couple more of those, field goal drives are late, late in the quarter and stuff like that, then we definitely could have, put ourselves in a better position. But, that's the nature of the game, in close games, especially, at the, elite college and NFL level. A lot of these games are close and one-score games. So, being able to convert, in those situations is definitely really important. And I feel like, I bring a tremendous amount of, ability to stop the run game, both, in the inside, and the outside in terms of rushing and, setting that edge as well. So, I think that just to be able to show that, today and, show that to scouts and versatility of things I'm able to do is something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I was thinking about asking you a 4-3-3-4. Honestly, I think you fit into both just fine. And honestly, your ability to stop the run is a big component of that. And I feel like that helps you as a pass rusher, right? Let's get him in a 3rd and 10. I dare you. I'm going to pin my ears back and get after him.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, awesome. Well, RJ, big fan of your game, man. I'm so excited to see you again in practice today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Joined now by cornerback from Kentucky, Maxwell Hairston. Maxwell, big fan of your game. Thanks for taking some time this morning.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, so there's a lot of different places we could start here, but let's just start with you're a junior. You're one of the underclassmen who decided to come here, and that's been a big revelation for the Senior Bowl over the last 2 years. Last year, not a whole lot of underclassmen. This year, that number a lot higher. So talk to me a little bit about your decision as an underclassman to come to Mobile.
Yeah, really just, praying about it, talking to my family about it, and we just felt like it was best, to go ahead and come out this year and be able to showcase my skills at something like the Senior Bowl. So, I feel like I've done exactly that.
Man, and it is a deep corner class, and guys of all shapes and sizes. You're one of these guys who's sub 6 foot, so some people are going to be lazy and they're going to say, okay, he's going to play in the slot. You have an abundance of speed, and you're one of the best click and close corners, in my opinion, in this class. So if to somebody who would say, hey, sub 6 foot, he's going to play on the inside, tell them why you should play on the outside.
Man, honestly, play on the outside because I'm just a competitor, type of person. I'm going to challenge anybody, confident in not allowing somebody to just run past me.
100%.
And, but really I could go anywhere. Even if I did have to play in the nickel, I could do that, something I could do because of versatile player that would just, play anywhere the coaches tells me to. So.
And in some respects, I do look at you, and if you did play in the slot, there's a little bit of Drew Phillips from, who got drafted in the 3rd round by the Giants, and you're not afraid to put your nose in the run game, man. So talk to me about that as a corner. Sometimes, some guys, it's not that they're making business decisions, but if it doesn't come their way, they're not upset about it, but you're willing to put your nose in it.
Yeah, I always hear he's small or corners don't like to tackle, and I just skip that narrative because it's bro, I'm a tackle. I'm gonna get my nose dirty. Despise the size, different. It never mattered to me because it's more of a mindset than, a height and size thing.
Totally, no doubt. And through 2 days of practice now, and kind of a wide range of different receiver types here, different body types. But how have you felt like the first 2 days have gone for you?
I feel like these receivers are strong, heavy receivers. So it's helped me, be able to show that I can play aggressive and I can play tough and I can play firm. And just putting that on display here, competing, that's all I want to do.
Yeah, and I remember after day 1 too, ton of people talking about you. So I think, and even day 2 too as well. But just got to see a little bit more of the day 1 stuff.
Sir.
But I think you've stood out there, and I think your versatility speaks a ton there. So then today we get into day 3, and it's the red zone.
Yes, sir.
And man, that's where you can, every game over the course, every play over the course of a game technically equals out. But once you get in that red area, man, it feels like it matters more. So what are some of your hopes and goals from today?
Man, really just, show I'm a shutdown corner in the field and in the red zone. Just be able to go out there and compete, like I said. Not make it easy for the receiver. Give them a hard time and make them earn everything.
And also I wanted to ask you, you missed some time during the middle of the season with the injury, and then you come back, and you played in some big games, and I thought that Louisville game towards the end of the year was one of my favorite games. Also, you go back to 2023, and you got some great tape there. But talk to me about the decision to come back from the injury, and then obviously getting back up to 100% this week.
Honestly, I had a kind of a freak injury, and the odds was kind of against me to come back, but I wanted to make sure I got to finish the season right with my brothers, get a chance to go out there instead of just, kind of abandoning them.
Yeah.
It's not the type of player I am, so I wanted to make sure I pay tribute to my teammates because, I knew I was declaring and just wanted to end it off the right way.
Awesome. Well, Maxwell, like I said, big fan of your game, man. Really appreciate you taking some time this morning.
Appreciate that. Yes, sir.